When you are ready tomorrow to paint, I have in the room some watercolors, and I just have a regular tray. I have different size paint brushes, and I always get a little cup. My sixth graders ask me, where's the water? The water's in the sink, so you'll have to get your own water. And I don't put a lot in there because I'm the kind of person who often trips and I spill it. So just a little bit of water and some paper towels. So if you're at home tomorrow, you might want to get the same things. A little water cup. If you have watercolors, awesome. If not, don't even worry about it. They usually come with some kind of brush in there. So if you're at home, hopefully you have a brush or you can find one. The other thing you can do, whether you're at home or in the art room, is you can tape down your work. So I honestly, especially when I'm at home, if I'm working on a surface that is flat, I just tape my work to the surface. I do have boards in the art room, so I can give you guys boards if you want, or you could just tape it to the table. I haven't decided yet because I don't have enough boards for everybody, but we'll figure that out. So I tape my artwork down, and I try to do it with a nice even border, so when I pull it up, it looks frameable. And here's the thing, you're going to take your artwork up, and you're going to have to put it back down every day, or I can give you a board. So if you're at home, it's okay if you tape it to a table and pull it back up. Now, when you're starting your watercolors, you have to wet your watercolors. A lot of people don't know this. I don't know if they talk about it in elementary school, but you have to use your brush, dip it in your water, and you almost use it like a spoon. I know this is hard to see, but I'm taking some water and I'm dripping it into each little cake of watercolor. This sounds silly and obvious, and I don't mean it in a sarcastic way, but watercolor paints need a lot of water. Sometimes my students don't put enough water in, and then they get weirdly sticky and they actually never dry. It's a strange thing. So you really do want to put a lot of water in there. And the other thing about watercolors is they're out of control. You cannot really control them. So try not to get super upset. That's why we're doing mixed media, because the way I control my watercolors is by painting, saying, oh, darn, they're doing whatever they want. And then when they dry, I go over top of them with other materials. So try not to control your watercolors too much. The other thing I love about watercolors is the lid is a palette. So if you get a watercolor tray with 8 colors, don't just use them as is. So for example, I'm going to mix some sky colors. I'm going to put some blue up there. Maybe add a little yellow to it. Maybe a little violet. I can make my own custom colors, and then I can paint those. And when I paint my watercolors, I go right over top of my pencil lines. And I'm starting really light. Do you see how light that is? And I'm not trying to make it perfect. Maybe I'm leaving some empty spaces where there's clouds. Maybe I'll go back and add some more color. And I just kind of let my colors do their thing. And with my landscape paintings, I tend to use a lot of horizontal back and forth marks. I'm not going to do my clouds, or I'm sorry, I'm not going to do my hills yet, because I'm afraid that if I put some green there, I'll show you what will happen. Do you guys know, has this happened to you? Wet watercolors next to wet watercolors. See how it's spreading right here? So you can, if you want, do that, but instead, I'm just going to give it a little space. Maybe next I'll do something down here. So your water will tend to be the same color as your sky, and I'll remind you tomorrow. So I'm using my same sky color over here. And Dylan, this is what we were talking about, those horizontal lines. So I'm doing a lot of those horizontal back and forth lines when I do my water. And I'm matching the sky. So if there's a little yellow in my sky, I'll put a little yellow in my stream here and there. And you can have fun. It doesn't have to be realistic. It doesn't have to look exactly like what you created. Now I'll go to a new spot. Maybe I'll do my path. And again, use your palette on top. Use lots of water because you can always go back and add more paint, but it's hard to take it away. And you can start to use your palette to mix some colors and kind of put them on there and layer them. And really, your first layer is just kind of like a background layer. So don't even go crazy. I'm not trying to do any special details. I'm just doing a little background layer here. So that's what we'll work on tomorrow. And we will be doing that on not only your landscape painting, but on your tree practice. So you'll have a few different artworks going on. So hopefully by the time you finish next week, you'll have at least one artwork that you really love. When you clean up, I would like you to hold the, sorry, I'm trying to open this up. I would like you to hold your tray flat and keep it open. So this is what my counter looks like. Don't close this up and walk with it because I've seen too many people drip it on their clothes. I just keep it open. Do you see how I'm doing that? All my days of waitressing, I'm keeping it level because it's really, 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 really filled with water. I bring it over here. I tend to wipe the palette out for the next person. So I'm just kind of getting some of that extra off the top for the next person. You don't have to go crazy with watercolor brushes. Other paints, I'll be like, oh my gosh, wash them good. But watercolors, you can just swirl around, dump them in there, stack your cup up. And brushes have really bad hair days, so I just put them with their bristles facing up. And that's really how I want you to put everything back, just the way you found it. And I just don't want you to drip anything on yourself. We have the drying racks. And what do you guys think? Would you rather have boards for everything tomorrow if you're in the room? Would that be easier if you take everything to a board? Maybe think about it. I also have you organized by colors, which I did last year, some of you know, but I haven't really talked about this year. If you look at the legs of your table or some little pieces of tape, up front I have the yellow table, I have the green table, you're the blue table, you're the red table, miscellaneous is purple, so purple, and I put little pieces of tape. So sometimes I will call you by table when we have a lot of stuff, especially clay, paint. So red, I'm going to start with you. If you're at the red table and you want to put your stuff on the drying rack, you can. Everybody else, you can start your cleanup process now, especially if you're at home. You can start cleaning up.